Hello, how's it going? We're here again in my apartment, and I wanted to make a video on the transition between the student life as a teacher and now actually coming into a full career, obviously, talking about the feelings and everything else in between. Right now, just cooking in my kitchen, because I didn't get any footage before this intro thingy because I'm lazy, but this is the filler, and the intro should be coming right about now. Sing and dance, never think about tomorrow. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about the transition from university to a career. Just getting ready to go to the grocery store right now. I don't know if you can see me. But I think the big thing for me was that it felt a lot more natural than what I thought. And I think part of that is I had that goal in mind for such a long time. And when I applied to this job back in, I would say, like March, I knew I was coming for a while, even before I had graduated, so it kind of just felt like a natural next step, I guess. And like sort of on top of that, it was my goal, as I said, for a long time, so when I got there, it was just kind of the next thing, and I'd known I wanted to do it for such a long time. It's a little dark in here, isn't it? So I guess like I didn't make such a big deal of it. I was having an interesting conversation with a friend the other day, not the other day, a while ago actually, but we were saying, when we feel successful and we do things that make us happy, we don't feel like excited, we don't feel like overzealous with joy. We just kind of feel like, oh sweet, like that's what I wanted to do, like cool, and now I'm doing it. It's more like a piece of contentment, I guess, than actually feeling like super overjoyed with something, because I've worked so long to get here, and it definitely was just the next natural step. I think it's kind of the same thing with living abroad, honestly. It's a bit different for me. I've never lived independent outside like my city for more than a month. Now I'm here for 10. But again, that was my goal for like a long time, to move out and put myself in the lounge shop. Okay. I think it's gone. Oh, there's a lot of traffic here. The challenges have been, again, I think if anything, coming here has made me just appreciate things in general more. Like, I'm in a new place. I mean, look around. No snow. And that's something I love, but it's also made me appreciate snow back in Canada, and that's just one random example. But I think when I go back home, I'll have a lot more to appreciate being away from it, if that makes sense. And that has actually given me positive feelings. I haven't had the whole culture shock, missing home thing set in yet. I'm thinking that'll happen after I come back from Christmas, because then I have the two experiences to compare to. So we'll see how that goes, but for now, again, it's really just a feeling of contentment as opposed to like any super strong feeling of positivity or negativity. So I'm an idiot and just realized I left my key in my apartment, and I think I locked myself out, so gotta do that now. In terms of transitioning in like specifically like a teaching contest, moving in from like my Bachelor of Education to actually being a full-fledged teacher, that's been different. I mean, obviously, because for the first time, you're really coming into your own self. You're really finding your own teacher identity, which, at least in my program, we had the opportunity to do in our practicums, but it was only like bits at a time. Like 2-week bits was the first practicum, and then finally our last one was about 8 weeks. Oh, there's some guy saying stuff out of his truck, and it just said something about video, so now I'm a little nervous. And what I've been noticing, what's happening is that I'm doing a lot of things that I thought I would never do back in university, because what they told us in university was like the latest research on things. So we learned a lot about inquiry, classroom leadership, design thinking, interdisciplinarity. That stuff's great, but we didn't get a lot about was actual management and facilitating a classroom and leading the behavior, facilitating good conversations, how to impart life skills on students and things like that. That's what we got in our practicum, but again, we only got like a brief taste of that. Like, again, I want to be that silly goofy teacher that can also be a mentor to students when they need it. I want to be tough but fair, but also be able to have some fun with them. And I feel like recently I've just been doing a lot more yelling than what I thought I would. Because they get to you, man, they get to you. When they do things that to an adult seem obvious, but to a kid is just like a crisis. Sir, I lost my pencil, like I just can't deal with it. Not this again. So I've really kind of learned to cool it down a bit, and I'm developing things that I never really did back in university, but I'm still thankful for those things. Like, I still want to be that teacher who values inquiry, who values deep learning, who does fun things with their students while they learn, who impacts their life. But I'm noticing to get to that point, to get to the point where I want to be and what I've learned in my university, to be that teacher that I've envisioned myself as for the past 5 years, I've just got to go through the grind of learning the things that you learn as a first-year teacher. Again, I've been doing things, like I said, that I never thought I would do, but I'm doing those things so I can work up to doing the things that I want. Well, that's the plan at least. I guess we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I just watched that footage that I just filmed, and I'm not sure if it was super clear. It was kind of rambly when I was looking at it, but I guess that's just my raw thoughts. I think the big theme is with the transition in teaching from studying how to teach and being an actual teacher is that it's two very different stages. Oh, there's a tree. It's two very different stages in learning. Learning to be a teacher and being a teacher are two different learning processes. And in university, you're learning how to be the ideal teacher. You're learning what you should strive for, I feel like. And now that I'm actually in it, I'm figuring out how I can get there. It's kind of the opposite of a map. It's like you're given the destination of where you want to go and who you want to be. You form that. And then when you get into it, you're doing the job, you have to sort of figure out your own path and a roadmap to get there. So you're in two very different phases of learning. And that, I think, is the big transition piece that I'm still getting used to. I know who I want to be and what I want to do as a teacher, and I'm figuring out how to get there. And figuring out how to get there has involved being a lot more strict and structured than I initially thought out, because these kids, you take life skills so for granted. Adults, we have it all figured out, but then you forget when you're in a room with kids, oh, it took me about a decade to figure it all out. That's the big thing here too. It's not a short-term thing, it's a long-term thing. That would be a good video topic, wouldn't it? I think I might do that. Okay, so I think that's a good final note to leave this on. I'm noticing both my hands are occupied right now, so I can't give my thumbs up. I'm just gonna shake my face at you, and thanks for watching.